So I was actually, given a work of reviewing around 200 video resumes for one of the from one of the business schools, and I did that. And while I was doing that, I realized uh, how important communication is. I mean, obviously, I knew. See, as a trainer, we keep on talking about communication skills, interpersonal skills. How do you going to communicate with each other? But while I was going through all these 200 video resumes of all the people, all the students that they did, it was very, very interesting. And I thought that this is something which I think I should start doing and actually talking about what are the key aspects of communication. Now, see, we as trainers and being in the trainer fraternity, it's a very cliche topic. It's a very, very cliche topic. Communication, every trainer is talking about communication, and they will talk about body language, they will talk about tonality, they will talk about a lot of other things, and you can do a 1-day workshop, 2-day workshop, you can do a lot of stuff. But communication is totally something that's different. So what is communication? I'm sure, you will, as trainers, we talk about, sender, receiver, this, that. But communication is all about communicating. It is not about language. It is not about two people talking to each other, because even if two people are talking to each other for 1 or 2 hours, we might not communicate. So it's not about talking, it's not about speaking. So what is it all about? What is communication? And you would know, I think most of you would know that communication has this Mehrabian pie chart where 50% body language, this person tonality, this person words. But for me personally, I always believe that words play a very, very important role. So this live is about communication as I look at it, and sharing 2 or 3 interesting aspects about how you can improve your communication. Now, I'll give you 2-3 tips about improving communication, and so that is something which I thought I will share with you in this particular line. Though most of the trainers talk about, and with all due respect to all the amazing trainers that we listen to, they talk about verbal language, non-verbal language. For me, language is very important. What words you're using, because communication also includes influencing. A lot of people talk about manipulation. I talk about influencing. You can use whatever word you want to use, right? So it's nothing to do with. So let me give you an example. So now you must be having your role models, right? So you would have seen Tony Robbins, and you would see Narendra Modi, you would see all these Shashi Tharoor and all these great speakers, Now there's an interesting way they catch attention. Have you ever watched, or have you ever fallen into that trap? What is that trap? The trap is affirmation, affirmative action. What is that? When you chunk up, so when I talk about chunk up, when you talk about highest intention, you always get an affirmative answer. What is an affirmative answer? You get a yes. For any communication, if you want to get into a rapport, that you're building rapport with the other person so that the other person listens to you, you have to get to a level where both of you will agree like this. Now, how do I agree? And what are the points we would agree? Now, let me ask you a question. Do you want peace? What you would say? Anybody would say no? You would say yes. Do you want to get rid of this coronavirus? Do you want to get rid of the stress that is creating you, is building on you during this lockdown? Do you want to get more jobs? Do you want to get promoted? Do you want to get more salary? Do you want to be successful? Do you want to achieve 100%? All these answers you would get yes. It's an affirmative answer. No one will say no. Now, if you look at all these politicians, influencers, great speakers, they start with this. आपको रोटी चाहिए, मकान चाहिए, हाँ. आपको मन में शांति चाहिए, स्पिरिचुअल गुरुज, आपको मन में शांति चाहिए, हाँ. आपका मन में जो हलचल मच रहा है उससे छुटकारा आपको चाहिए, हाँ. Mass agreement. So this is something what we call an agreement frame. Okay, in linguistics we call agreement frame. Yes, the tonality and drama obviously works. I agree, and I agree with the Meherbian thing that if I would have said, "आपको क्या शांति चाहिए?" Even if I say like this, you will say yes, isn't it? Or आपको क्या पैसा चाहिए? पैसा चाहिए is not always yes. So you have to be very careful of choice of your words. आपको दौलत चाहिए might not be yes, not everyone, but peace, happiness, love, emotions, feelings always gets you yes. Success, achieving something always gets you in yes. That's always the highest intention of any human being or any individual. It is the highest intention. So if you talk with the highest intention, you would always get an agreement, and that's an amazing way to start any communication where you constantly get into an agreement. Tip number 1, right? So communication is not only about, yes, you do communicate a lot with your body language, with your eyes, with your voice. All things are very important, but language also can create a very, very important role. Let me tell you another thing. Have you ever seen people, so when you say, right, what do you think about this particular stuff? When you ask something like this, you will get 3 kind of responses. So some people will say it looks good. Some people will say it sounds good. Some people will say it feels good, right? So these are what we call representational systems. So depending on the other person's representational system, primary representational system, they will say whether it will sound good, it will feel good, or it will, does it hear good, sound good, look good, or feel good, right? Now imagine the moment you hear it sounds good, you respond with a similar auditory. We talk about with sound, So if you respond with that, you build a constant rapport. Again, language. Language is something which is very beautiful. And if you use language in communication with a little bit of head, you will see your influencing skills becomes much more stronger and communication becomes much more stronger. So let's say if I say, so somebody asked me, so Abhiru, what do you think about this new course that you're launching, which is one-to-one communication coaching? And I say, yeah, it looks good. And you constantly respond, yeah, so how do you picture yourself giving this particular session in one-to-one? See, visual, looks good. I connected with the visual, instant rapport. Very, very important in communication is building this instant rapport, right? Now, one of the most key aspects about communication, something I put it everything above everything. And that's where I think introverts communicate the best. Oh, you surprised? Nothing to be surprised about. I think introverts are great communicators. You know why? Because they are amazing listeners. If I talk too much, it is not necessary I communicate a lot. It is not about talking. It's about talking sense. It's about listening. The more you listen, the more communicative you become, because you're absorbing every information that you have. And with that, the moment you start talking, you have already captured the other person's attention. Think about it. If you start with this statement, I understand what you're saying. Is this what really you are trying to say? Now, when you paraphrase that, are you really this something that you're talking about? The other person instantly connects with you and says that, oh, this person has really listened to me. And he's paraphrasing almost word by word. Sometimes it might, if you do it too often, it might get offended. Your boss might, अरे इतना भी नहीं समझता क्या तुम बार बार repeat क्यों कर रहा है? Possible. But even if that person says, if she said, no, I just wanted to be clear that I've understood it correctly. And that's where the communication channel actually ends, creates a synergy. Right? So listening, and there are various techniques of listening, and a lot of people listen to reply. You would have heard a lot of trainers say that you listen to reply. I mean, so let's say I'm talking, you're already, now since it's a Facebook live, you can put it on the message, but you can't, reply me back. But you're constantly maybe thinking, yeah, this guy is talking this is bullshit, this is crap, or this is not something that is making sense to me. You're constantly talking. So that means what? If you're talking inside your head, you're actually not listening to me. You're talking inside your head. Or if you're listening to me as well as doing something else, that means also you're actually not listening to me. You're actually doing something else. And I have this very interesting aspect that you cannot do multitasking. It's a very, very widely used word called multitasking. But I personally believe there is nothing called multitasking. Trust me, there is nothing called multitasking, and I can prove you that. If you come to my one-to-one communication coaching session, one-to-one session, I would prove you that there is nothing called multitasking, and I would advise and suggest that you do one task at a time. You cannot do two tasks at a time. I mean, you can do two tasks, but one of the tasks will obviously get, less priority than the other one. So you cannot do multitasking. No matter how many job descriptions you might write where you say, I need a person who's multitasker, or I am a multitasker, nobody can multitask. I'll give you a very simple example. So now let's say you're driving and talking over the phone. You're multitasking, but are you seriously think that you're concentrating on driving if you're in an intense talk? And if you're really in a congested road, would you be able to drive while talking, or you will just listening, or you will just hold on, let me cross this road? That means what? You are actually when you're concentrating or doing really something which is core or which needs your concentrations, you cannot do two things at one time. Very simple example, driving. You look at it. I mean, there are a lot of times I drive, I'm totally lost, or maybe I'm listening to a song. I go to some other. I'm completely. It's just because we are so habitual in driving, it doesn't impact that much. But if you're not, because it becomes a habit after a point. So there's something called learning ladder. There's something called habit. There's something called breaking habit. All these things I cover in this my coaching one-to-one coaching session. So if you're interested, you can definitely connect with me. It's a very, very individual, personalized session that I will give, because I personally believe if you attend a communication workshop, it's very difficult for you to actually create results. Because for me, I personally believe for anyone to become a great communicator, you need a goal. Why you want to become a communicator? You want to become a trainer. You want to get the next job. You want to crack your interviews. You want to influence people. What is the reason? It's important. And accordingly, you work on your communications. Then I talk about communication principles, language. So the course that I have for students and young professionals, I also share with you how you can prepare for your interviews. It's very, very important how you prepare. Interview preparation is an art. It needs preparation. Stage mere do wo ho jayega never happens. You need to prepare for your interviews. Because if you prepare really well, then only you can crack your interviews. Otherwise, it's not that easy. You will just get lucky. You will just get lucky. But if you really want a real good job, then preparation is very important. So how do you do that? How do you create your elevator pitches? For students, how do you crack group discussions? So all these things, because there's a lot of techniques in group discussions also. What are the things that you can do, right? So coming back, so listening. So listening is something which is very, very, I personally feel if you listen really deep. Coming back, so first step is get into an agreement frame, chunk it up, highest intention. Second, try and paraphrase of what you just listened. So that's an amazing way of making the other person understand that you have listened. And then working on linguistic frames. Working on linguistic frames, whether it's an agreement frame or you talk about, your representative system. It looks good, it sounds good, I feel good, and you match with them. So we talk about matching. So once you match, you build rapport, your communication becomes much more stronger. Now there's a very interesting communication model, which obviously I'll not share it today. In case you join my communication session, I would definitely share with you the communication model, where you will actually understand that there are so many things that are happening. So if you think about right now, just close your eyes and imagine there's so many things happening around you. Would you be able to observe? So there could be a sound of the sound of the AC, or the sound of the fan. There could be somebody talking. There will be one corner, there will be a TV. There could be somewhere there's a horn, there's some transport going, there could be some birds chirping. There are so many things: sounds, lights, music, action, people talking. So much information we take in. Millions of bits of information we take in. Do we really remember everything? Or do we really absorb everything? No. Something which we do is we delete something, or we distort, or we generalize. And accordingly, we actually communicate. So our communication is totally based on what we are perceiving the other person is saying. And accordingly, I'm saying, so we think, and I'm amazed people, and I've seen people that if you talk very well, they think they are great communicators. Not really, sir or ma'am. If you talk, or if you know English very well, you're a great. No. If you know English well and you keep blabbering English, it is not necessarily means you're a great communicator. A great communicator is a person who communicates and makes people understand and do and make people do what the person wants them to do. Leaders, great communicators, because they make people do what they want to do. Right? So that's all about it for this live. So I thought I would share something. So I'll keep coming, and this video would be uploaded in my YouTube channel. So if you want, interested, you can go and check out my YouTube channel. It's Abhirup Banerjee, the coach. Do check out my YouTube channel. There's something which I've started is a comedy series. So if you know Bengali and if you understand Bengali, you can have a laugh. So I keep doing different things, So this is another avatar. That is another avatar. So that's all about communication. It's everything that how you communicate, right? And I've been I do one-to-one coaching, because I believe communication. To learn communication, you need to give personalized attention, because there's a lot of practice that you need to do. There's a lot of feedback that you need to get, which doesn't happen in a group session or a group workshop. It does get, but if I am a person whom I don't talk much, in a group session you will never talk, and as an instructor, facilitator, I would not be able to really get the thing out of you, that whether you really are communicating or can communicate or not, right? So I work one-to-one with individuals, students, and young professionals. I work with not so young professionals also, if they are interested and if they think that they need something as a communication, as a coaching, I would love to share with them. So I have level 1 and level 2. So level 1 is 8 weeks, level 2 is 6 weeks. Level 2 is a bit more into influencing, assertives, storytelling, public speaking. So that's on level 2. Level 1 is more at the basic level. So you can connect with me. So my number is already there, and I will also share the link in this particular video. So thank you everyone so much for watching, and I hope I've been able to add some value with this live video. And do share, do like, comment, and share if you think that this video would be beneficial to other people, students whom you know, or other people whom you know that they think it would be beneficial of how they communicate better. And if you want much more deep dive, to connect with me, I would love to help you out. I also have something which is called a 1-hour introductory session. So, and that's just for 999. So it just rupees 999, 1-hour introductory session. So if you want to sign up for that, you're most welcome anytime. right? See you guys. Have a great week ahead, and have a great IPL match in case you are interested with cricket. If you're not, so be it. So have a great night and a great week ahead, and till then, see you. Thank you. Bye. Stay safe and stay well.